guys, welcome back to my channel. You are here today for a Q&A. So a few of you have asked some questions. I said I'd do a Q&A if you wanted to know a bit more about me. If you're new to my channel and this is the first vlog you have clicked on, I basically vlog my calorie counting days, journey, whatever you want to call it. So, question 1, Joy Dancer said, what is my favourite thing to do? My favourite thing to do, I think my husband would probably say, is cause trouble. But my favourite thing that I like to do at the moment is my vlogging. I quite enjoy my vlogging. I think that me vlogging keeps me on track with not going over my calories and things, because I'm being obviously mindful of what I'm putting in here. But yeah, my favorite thing to do, I think, would be my vlogging at the moment. Number 2, Jacqueline Highfield said, what is my job? Well, my job at the moment, and for the last 20 years, has been in customer service. So that is what I do. I deal with a wide range of customers, some lovely, some not so, but yeah, I'm in customer service. Right, Jacqueline also wanted to know, has my husband found work? The answer to that is no, not yet. I think he's enjoying himself too much at home, apart from the homeschooling. But no, obviously finding a job at the moment is not as easy as it was before COVID hit. A lot of the jobs he applies for, when he applies, already says no, because they've had that much of an influx of applications. They're not taking any more applications. So looking for a job is ongoing. Maybe he could be my manager one day. Sitting here listening to me, raising his eyebrows. But yeah, so he hasn't found work as yet. Sam McPhee, what made you decide this is it and start losing weight? Well, back when I was at my biggest and joined Slimming World, that was a question of, I remember standing on the scales being 26 stone 13 and thinking, just 1 more pound and I'm going to be 27 stone. I can't be 27 stone. And that is what made me do it back then, before I went on a wobble and left and gained loads back. But this time, when I've changed to calorie counting and things and started doing the vlogging, literally went into lockdown last year. I was at home, had nothing other to do than eat. I think the first week of lockdown, I did nothing but bake. I ate everything I baked, and the first week I was off work on lockdown, I gained, I think it was £7. And I thought to myself, if this carries on and I don't do anything about it, by the time I go back to work, I'm not going to be able to fit out the door. So I was like, right, something's got to change. So that's what made me do it this time. Next question. Lynn Finney, I think it is. I hope I pronounced that right. Do I live at the coast? No, I don't live at the coast. However, I'm only about a 25-minute drive from there. I'm quite near to like Porthcawl. So yeah, I'm not far from the coast. And would I have surgery for loose skin on my tummy? God, yeah, I can't wait. But I won't start with my tummy. I will start with my arms. My arms are the worst ever. I hate my arms. I won't have my arms out other than when I'm in the house. But yeah, I plan a full body turnover when I've got down to my weight that I want to be, starting at my neck down. But yeah, I will be having plastic surgery. So you need to hurry up and find a job to pay for it, Warren. Okay? Right, but yeah, I will be having surgery. Without a doubt. Right, Bronwyn pain. What is your trigger to start your weight loss? That is sort of the same as question 3, what made me decide to do it. But the other thing that made me decide was my eldest son. We were sitting in the front room and we were talking about weight and diets and blah, blah, blah. And he said to me, "Oh, Mum, why don't you start YouTube?" And I was like, no, I don't want to do YouTube. I liked watching people, but I was like, no, I'm not doing YouTube. And he was like, I'll set it all up for you and all, you know. And I was like, nah. And he kept going on and badgering me and come on now, next day, do YouTube. And in the end, I was like, oh, well, I had nothing else to do. I was bored in the house bored as it is. So I was like, oh, go on then. So, and that's where it all started. Back 12th of May last year, my first vlog went live. And here we are today. Not far off, a year later. What else have we got here? How did I choose my children's unusual names? Well, I've got 3 children. They're 13, 9 and 8. And I've got Mackenzie. Now, Mackenzie was going to be called Reese. All the way along up until about 2 months before he was born, he was going to be called Reese. And then my friend's sister had a baby and he was called Mackenzie. And I thought, when I heard that name, I didn't really hear it before, and I was like, oh, Mackenzie. I really like that name, Mackenzie. I said to Warren, do you like Mackenzie? And he was like, yeah. So we just went with Mackenzie. So he could have been Reese. With Jackson, we went through loads of names. I did go through a stage of some rather, shall I say, dodgy names, and the girls in work used to laugh at me. I think one of them was, I liked Gunner and Diesel. What else did he like? Gunner, Diesel,
Pixie for a girl.
Ace. All these really random names anyway. But again, I was talking to this girl and she'd had a baby called Jackson. And then I was like, oh yeah. And at the time, it was quite unusual, the name Jackson, because there's all different ways of spelling it. Mine, the way I do it is Jackson. A lot of people spell it more like the surname, like Jackson. A lot of people slip an S into his name, which annoys me. Even the school does it, and I'm like, it's Jackson. But yeah, no, so Jackson is Jackson. And Dexter, my husband chose Dexter. What was it after? Something, oh, he just liked Dexter, and I thought, yeah, Dexter. And I like Dexter. I think Dexter suits his name. If I was going to have a girl, on every pregnancy, the girl would have been called Pixie. That was the name that I liked and wanted. I never had a girl, and obviously I couldn't call any of the boys Pixie. But yeah, that is how we came up with the names. I also had off Bronwyn my occupation, which I've just said, and then she also wanted to know which YouTubers I follow. Now, I did do a video on, or a vlog on who I follow, but I will just go through. I've written them down here. I never remember them all. If I forget anyone, don't take offence. I ran out of paper writing. Right, people I watch. I'm reading off my list here. That's why I'm not looking at camera. Right, I watch. This is in no particular order. You're not better than anyone else because I've read your name out first and last, whatever. This is just who I watch. Right, I watch Dr. Joe's TV. He is obviously a doctor, and he was at the birth, poor guy, and that was on my other video. He was at the birth of one of my kids, having the job of holding up my tummy. Yes. And he's got his own channel, and he's really informative. He talks about weight issues, high blood pressure, your heart, all stuff like that. So it's Dr. Joe TV. I watch him. I watch Emma Slimming World at Home, who does Slimming World, shopping hauls, and, you know, tries out food, things like that. I watch Katie Jane sometimes. I think a lot of you probably watch Katie Jane. Crossing these off as I'm reading them out. I watch somebody called Caroline, Mrs. M, I think it is. She does like over 50s lifestyle. I'm not quite 50 yet, but I quite like watching her. So I watch her. I watch Glamour SW. She does obviously Slimming World and weigh-ins and what she eats in a days. I watch some. I don't watch her very often. I watch Nikki Ryan. Is she Fropaholic? What's she called? I watch Trim with Tan, although I think she's disappeared off the face of the earth at the moment. I haven't seen her doing any vlogs. I watched Carla Jenkins, and it was Carla Jenkins that made me think, right, I'm going to give calorie counting a go. So thank you, Carla. So if you do calorie counting, check Carla Jenkins out. She does eBay, and on a Thursday she then does a calorie counting vlog and a weigh-in update and shows you what she's eaten through the week and how much she's lost. So that's Carla Jenkins. What else do I do here? Let's have a look. Oh, I watched Bad Biscuit. She's good friends with Carla, and Bad Biscuit only lives up the road from me. Now, she eats a keto diet, but she doesn't do like many what I eat in a day or anything. She again does like eBay. She does jewelry reselling, but I like watching her. She's nice to watch, so check her out. I watch Tracy Mouse. I think we all watch Tracy Mouse, don't we? I watch Katie's Magical World. She does what I eat in a day's weigh-ins. She also does Harry Potter stuff. I also watch Gemma. Now, I don't know if I'm saying this new channel right, so forgive me if I'm not. I think it's called Sit This'n Down with Gem. Have I got that right? If not, formerly known as Peace Good Slimming. But I'm sure a lot of you already watched Gemma. She's recently decided to try calorie counting. Not forever, I don't think, but that's what she's doing at the moment. I also watched Joanne Morgan, CC. She does calorie counting. She's quite new to vlogging. She hasn't been doing it very long, so she does what I eat in a days and weigh-in updates and shopping hauls. So check her out and give her a little subscribe. What's Julie Buddha? Where have you been lately, Julie? I haven't seen you. But I like watching Julie Buddha. Her videos tend to be a little bit longer. I like watching Hay Bales. She does not so much calorie counting, more mindful eating, although she's been doing a bit of slim fast, and she does try-ons and shopping hauls, what I eat in a days. So check her out. Who else have I got here? Oh, I like watching Us Two. Craig and Michael, formerly known as the Sinberries. They do a bit of everything. They used to do Slimming World, they've tried Weight Watchers, and they've recently converted, temporarily, I assume, to calorie counting, which I'm looking forward to seeing their results on that. But yeah, so they're trying that at the moment, so check them out. I watched Louisa's World, who does Slimming World, and she does What I Eat in a Day's shopping hauls, and her partner Brett appears in some of the videos. I watched Rebecca J, Slimming World, she does. I know Rebecca from years ago, and then I seen her on YouTube, and I was like, oh my god, I know that girl. Anyway, Rebecca J, I watch her. I do watch Jane Gammons from time to time, because she does calories. Debbie's World, although she's stopped vlogging at the moment, I hope she'll come back, because she lost an amazing amount of weight on Slimming World. I watch Life with Kaz. I watch A Snowy Journey, although she does like keto. I watch her from time to time. Slimming World Savvy, watch her. I do watch Vicky's World when she posts. She doesn't post very, very often, but I like watching her. She's recently changed to Weight Watchers. I've recently started watching Davina McCall, so I subscribe to her. She's got quite a good channel. I watched the Mad Scots Lass, who is Slimming World. However, she is dabbling into calories at the minute. And I watched Rachel Gunstone, who is Slimming World, and she's been offline a short while because she's not been well, and she's just come back, so check her out. She's lovely, Rachel is, and she's not quite at 1,000 yet, so some of you pop over and check her out and give her a little sub, see if we can get her to 1,000. And I also watch these guys, and my husband's always like, oh, what are you watching them for? But I love watching them. They're called Those Vegan Guys, and I think it's their intro that gets me. They got a really catchy intro. Don't laugh. He's laughing at me. I would sing it to you, but I'd probably sound a bit of a dick if I did that. But yeah, Those Vegan Guys. They've got an allotment at the moment, and they're doing over their allotment and getting it all ready to grow their veg and stuff. So I like watching them. So that is who I watch. Nobody that I watch just does one plan. I watch people doing Slimming World. I watch people doing calorie counting, doing keto, Weight Watchers. Every plan there is, I watch. Yeah, that's who I watch on YouTube at the moment. And if I've forgotten anyone, sorry about that. Right, Tasha Johnson. How tall am I? Well, I've shrunk. I swear I used to be 5 foot and a fart, right? It was only a little bit. I used to be 5 foot. Now I'm 4'11". I think because I got dodgy knees, they must have ground themselves down and I've lost height. 4'11". That's tiny. I am tiny, but I'm wide. But I'm getting narrower. But yeah, so you can imagine at 4'11", at nearly 27 stone, I was practically square. But that's another story. But yeah, so I'm only 4'11", so I'm very little. So when I've lost my weight, I should be quite dutty. Yeah, how old am I? Too old. I'm 46. I'm going to be 47 in July. And where did me and my hubby meet? Well, where do I start? I was seeing this guy, and we used to go to a pub called the Game Bird down in Hawley, near where I used to live. And we used to go every night, and me and the girls, we all had minis, and we used to go around and we'd all meet and we'd go to the Game Bird all dolled up, you know, on a pole like, even though I had a boyfriend. Because I was quite a decent size back then, and I was, you know, could get the men in, you know. So we were out anyway, and we bumped into this group of guys, and we just got chatting as you do. And they were like, oh, we got this mate, you'd love him. And I'm like, oh, I've got a boyfriend. And they were like, no, seriously, there's this bloke called Warren, and he's, you know, he's a great guy. You'd love him. Do you want to meet him? No, I don't want to meet him. And on and on and on. So in the end, I agreed to go and meet him. And then the same night, I met this other man. Not showing a very good picture of myself here, I met this other guy in the pub, right? And he was chatting me up, and he asked to meet me. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine, I'll meet you. So I arranged to meet these two guys on the same night in the same place. So I was like, how's that going to work? But anyway, I blew the one out, and I said I'd meet Warren. Now I remember walking into the pub, and all his mates were like, oh, that's him there. And I remember looking, and he had this burgundy fluffy top on. It had Wild Goose written on it, and I was like, and he had long curly blonde hair, and I was like, my friend was with me, like, and I'm like, oh my god, he's minging. I don't like him. Oh, let's go. And he turned round, and I was like, oh, hi, hello, we're stuck here now. And my friend was laughing, and we were like, oh, Jesus Christ, we have to stay here now, won't we? So he bought me a drink, and I'm talking to him, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't like you. Then all his mates were there then, that I'd met the night before, and they were like, oh, come back to our hotel. And I was just learning to do hairdressing then. Come back to our hotel. I was like, really? Anyway, me and my friend went back to the hotel, and we were all in this big gang talking, and I was sitting on the arm of the chair. Warren was sitting on this arm of the chair in like this conservatory bit, and I was sitting on the arm of the chair, and he said something to me, and I just like burst out laughing, and from that minute we just got on, and I changed my view of him. Don't ask me how, don't ask me why, but yeah. And going on 30 years later, we're still together. But yeah, so that's how I met my husband. So after that, we got together really quickly. I was engaged within a couple of weeks, living in his flat within a couple of weeks. I'd gone round to the other guy that I was seeing, and I was like, sorry, I can't see you anymore. I was like, oh, I'm engaged to someone else. I must have been such a cow back in the day. I was like, oh, sorry, Pete, I'm engaged to someone else. And I was clearing my stuff out from his bedroom because he was living with his parents. And then he was like, oh, stay a minute. And I was like, oh, what's, what? And then he had the radio on, and then all of a sudden, it said, dedication to Karen Gibson. So I was called Gibson back then. Karen Gibson, Gloria Estefan, I don't want to lose you now. And there's me thinking, oh my God. And he was sitting at the top of the stairs as I was walking out with all my stuff. And I shut the door and I never seen him again. What can we? But hey, I was only like 18 back then. But yeah, that is the story of that. How long have we lived in Wales? I've been in Wales approximately 27 years. I'm originally from a place called Merstham, near Red Hill in Surrey. I used to work in Reigate doing hairdressing, and then I met Warren, and I just literally qualified, and he took me to Wales. It was a question of, I'd literally not known him what seemed like 5 minutes, and he was from Manchester, see. I'm from Surrey, he's from Manchester, but both living in Wales. Because he worked for British Airways down at Heathrow. And then, oh, the floorboard's creaking up there. New houses, creaky floorboards. Yeah, and then he got offered a job in Wales at a new facility they were opening up. And he said to me, you can either come with me and we'll make a go of it, or we'll call it a day. He said, you don't have to work, you can give up your job. He said, I'll keep you. So I was like, alrighty, yes please. So I moved up to Wales. I didn't work for about 3 years. And then, yeah, we bought a house when we moved up here. Or he bought a house. And I lived in it. And it wasn't until I wanted to, like, change my car and do more. And he was like, oh, you might have to get a job now then. So then that's when I got a job. Got a few different jobs. But hey, one being a bus driver, driving the old stagecoach buses, the old big steering wheel, up the hill. I got stuck on a hill when I was learning to do that. Could I get this bus off the hill? Could I? Anyway, that's a story for next. That's the one for next time. So that's how long I've been in Wales. Irene Corrigan, did it take a lot for me to change? No, like that. Slimming World on the one day, calorie counting the next, full swing. There was a couple of times I did a vlog and I was starting off by saying Slimming World, and then I just thought, but apart from that, no. I completely, Slimming World's in the back of my mind. It's not even in the back of my mind anymore, it's gone. So yeah. Summer Rose, what weight would I like to get down to? I do not want to get to any specific weight, any number. I just want to get down to a respectable size, the way I look, the way my clothes fit me. I don't want to say to you, oh, I'm going to be 8 stone 10, or I'm going to be 7 stone 12. I'm just going to get down to how I feel comfortable. I'm not hung up on I must wear a size 12, I must wear a size 10. If I wear clothes that say a 24 and I'm 8 stone, well, that's not going to happen, is it? But you know what I mean? I'm not hung up on being a specific weight or having a specific label on my clothes. So yeah, that's the answer to that. So Summer Rose also asked, what has being overweight stopped me doing? Where do I start? Right, I got a list here, things it stopped, and this isn't all of them. Right, it stopped me going to certain places. I wouldn't go to certain places just because. Going for certain jobs. I wouldn't go for certain jobs because I was overweight. And I always remember I wanted to be a chef when I left school. There was 3 things I wanted to be. It was either a hairdresser, a midwife, or a chef. My mother said to me, don't be a chef. She said, you'll get fat. Because she could see, obviously, I had a tendency to like my food. She said, don't be a chef, you get fat. Even to this day, she denies saying that, but she definitely said it. So I was like, yeah, all right, I won't be a chef. Well, I ended up fat and I want a chef. Anyway, hairdressing, which is what I ended up doing. And being a midwife was the other thing. Now, being a midwife, back then I had to have all these different qualifications and I didn't like school. So the easiest option for me was I do hairdressing. So that's how I did hairdressing. But I'm sure you can see from the way I present my food and things that I think I might have been quite a good chef. You never know. One day, never too old, as they say. What else has it stopped me doing? It stopped me getting trendy clothes. I got to the stage where I was wearing a size, well, I remember being in hospital, having the kids, and I had size 38 trousers, pyjamas, which I had to order online. And I always remember the midwife coming along. I was in bed, I just had a cesarean, and she come to help me out. And she was like, oh, where's your clothes, love? And I'm like, oh, down there. Well, she picked up this pair of navy, like pyjama bottoms, and she held them out like this. Obviously, it was like a bed sheet. I was like, oh my God, put them down. They were just enormous. So yeah, and I would have to buy everything online at my biggest. So that was annoying. I can obviously get stuff in most clothes shops now. Right, one thing it's stopped me doing is doing more with the kids when they were little, like going to play soft plays and things like that. I did go, but I could have gone more. I could have done more. Stopped me doing that. It would stop me sitting on the famous garden chairs, those white and green garden chairs that if you are on the larger side, you will know they're a nightmare. You either sit on them and the leg snaps, or you sit on them, stand up, and they're still attached to your backside. Or one day...
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Oh, thanks, Alexa. Alexa don't even know that one. Alexa, off.
Sorry.
You will be sorry if you don't turn off. No, even Alexa don't know. Right. Yeah, garden chairs. I always remember sitting on one around my friends because she had spare chairs because we'd gone round for dinner and there was so many of us. She didn't have enough chairs. And I'm just sitting there talking away, not realising what's going on. Suddenly the chair's going down and down and down. Me unaware. Turn around to talk to my mate and I'm like, grab the table. The chair was slowly spaying out. If I hadn't have got up when I did, the legs would have gone and then I would have been on the floor. I hate them chairs. Even now, I hate them. Stopped me having certain cars. I think I've mentioned in a vlog before, you may have seen, my mother had a Kia Picanto. Brand new Kia Picanto. She insured me on it. Went down a house, put one leg in, and I was like, put the seat back. She went, it is back. I said, no, put it back all the way. It is all the way. I could not physically get in and fit behind the wheel. I was so big and so square, I just couldn't fit in the car. So I lost 6 stone then. That's when I was doing Slimming World. And I ended up buying a Kia Picanto because I could fit in it and it was like a nice cheapy car to run. And yeah, so I ended up buying one in the end. But yeah, that stopped me. Certain cars. Getting through turnstiles. Nightmare. Football matches that I used to go to with my husband. One day, turnstile and me had a fight. Yeah. Eating in certain restaurants. I wouldn't go if they had dodgy seating. Mackenzie likes to go to Wagamama's. I won't take him because they had like high stalls. 4'11", I couldn't get up on them for a start. And then no benches, so you can't like lean on them. Other restaurants, fixed seating. I remember taking Dexter to, what was it, Frankie and Benny's. And they had like a fixed seat they put us in. Now the woman could see I was obviously large. And she rammed us in this thing and she's like, you all right there, love? And I'm like, yeah, thanks. Thinking, you cow. She could see I was rammed in this thing, like squashed in so tight. I didn't have an inch to move. And I'm like, and then when she come over, oh, can I get you anything? And I'm like, Diet Coke, please. Dexter, I ordered breakfast for Dexter and I was going to have breakfast, a good old nosh down as you do, but I was like, no, not going to have anything now. Diet Coke. So yeah, that's that. Stopped me from walking far. Didn't go far for a walk because I'd always been knackered. And now I can't walk far because of my knees. So I hope to get my knees done. I was supposed to have gone back in March. Obviously we had COVID, so I haven't gone back. But I needed to lose weight. I basically have to get older and thinner before they'll give me new knees. So for now, I struggle on with them. It stopped me from having operations in the past. I needed a hernia operation. They wouldn't do it. It became an emergency one day because it got stuck. So they had to operate on me, and it was a question of, well, we're going to have to do it now because it's an emergency, but they wouldn't do that operation. I also had to have my gallbladder out, which I have to say is still not out. It's in. I was in the most horrendous pain with gallbladder pain. I tell you what, if you've never suffered with your gallbladder, you never want to. It is horrendous. And touch wood, as they say, touch table. It hasn't played up for ages, but they basically told me to go away. The last, not to go away, but I'll tell you now. Mr. Woodward, his name was. So if you're watching, think about what you say to people, okay? I went to a hospital and this guy, Mr. Woodward, I'm sure his name was that. And I don't know whether his psychology in saying this to me thought that'll make her go and lose weight. I was about 25 stone then. And I remember him going to me, yeah, too risky. Yeah, you need the operation, but it's too risky. Yeah, we can't do it. You have to put up with it, sort of thing. And I'm like, yeah, cheers. And as I'm leaving, the nurse, you could see the nurse was like, oh, I love her. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. And the nurse is like saying to me when he's gone, like, oh, don't worry about him. But as I left, pointed at me in the face and he went, you get down to 16 stone and then come back and we'll see about doing it. And walked out the room. And I remember thinking, you absolute, what an absolute horrible man. Anyway, I think he thought that I was going to leave then and say, right, I'll show you. I'll get to 16 stone and come back. And when I first left, I was like crying to my husband and that. And I was like, I'm going to show him. I'll do it. And I'll be back. And then that all lasted all of 5 minutes. And then I just reverted to scoffing my face off again. But luckily, my gallbladder hasn't played up for ages. And I'm nearly not far off 16 now. So I could actually go back and say, yeah, you told me to come back. I'm here. But we shall see. I obviously don't want to have an operation I don't need. So, unless it plays up, I'm not going to go back. What else we got here? What did it stop me doing? Yeah, that's that. It stopped me from going in a pub once. I used to live in a place called Brinner, and in Clanharan they had like a working man's club bit there. And there was this really old man, you know the type that if they had any more wrinkles you could screw their hat on. One of them. Right? Obnoxious. Ooh, he was like one of the members of the committee or whatever. Well, he was on the door. And do you know what? The cheeky little git said to me, sorry, love, you're too fat, you can't come in. I was like, what? Too fat? Anyway, I was so ashamed, I left. But yeah, told me I was too fat. I was like, cheeky git. Right, it stopped me from going to certain shops, as I mentioned, with clothes. One of the sad ones it stopped me doing was school nativities. Now, I was in Chat magazine twice. And the second story, the headline was, My Big Fat Nativity Nightmare. The first one was, So Fat I Broke a Pew, which I did. But yeah, school nativities, I wouldn't go to school nativities, especially when Mackenzie was first in school. I mean, he's 13 now, so you're talking years ago. I wouldn't go. And it's a shame because he was my first child and I should have wanted to do everything with my first child. But I wouldn't go. I'd say to my husband, oh, you go. Tell him I can't come. And then, or my mother, I'd say to my mother, you and Warren go and say I'm working. Or I'd say I had to work. I couldn't get out of work. And my boss in work was like, no, come on now, you've got to go. And I'm like, oh no, I'm too busy. I don't want to stay and work. But yeah, nativities, I miss out on them. It's quite sad when you look back and I think, oh. And then Dexter had a nativity and I wasn't there for one of his. I can't remember if I generally had to work or did work. I can't remember why, but I didn't go, or when I was just feeling one of them fat sessions. And he cried. He was crying because I wasn't there. And then when Warren told me that, I was like, oh. I felt bad then. He cried because his mummy wasn't there. They had to take him off the thing. But yeah, nativities I missed out on. But let me tell you, They're not going to have many more nativities now because I don't know whether they do it differently because of COVID and that, but I have been to the last few. But yeah, nativities. And parents' evening. Oh, if I could get out of parents' evening, oh boy, would I. You'd go, right? They'd give you the stupid little tiddly chairs to sit on that were an inch off the floor. So I'd stand there and then they'd be like, oh, have a seat. And I'd be like, oh no, I've been sitting all day. I don't want to sit down again. I'm fine. Thank you. Are you sure you don't want to sit down? And in my head, I'm thinking, of course I bloody want to sit down. And I'm like, no, honestly. And a couple of them, I think, could tell because they were like, oh, do you want to perch on the desk? Or they'd give me their chair, their lovely big chair. Or they'd give me a silly chair with no sides on I couldn't lean on to get up. And I'd be like, oh, no, honestly, I'm fine. So I'd be standing there like an idiot while they're sitting down. Parents' evening, oh, I hated them. Some social events, like I've got lots of friends. I'm very social. But when I was bigger, they'd be like, oh, we're going down so-and-so. You come in. And I'd be like, oh, I can't. I haven't got a babysitter. When I had. I can't. I've got this. I can't. I got that. Oh, I'd make any excuse not to go. And they knew it deep down. And holidays. I would get out of going on holidays because of sitting on a plane. Who wants to sit on a plane next to a large person? Not many. But when we did go, I'd obviously sit next to my husband. I'd be like leaning on his side of the chair. But now I obviously can fit in my chair. So there's obviously more, but I can't go on forever. Otherwise you'd be bored. You're probably bored by now because what am I on? Question 8. And we've got 17. So put me on pause and go and get another cup of coffee. Trying to do these Q&As and the kids are all coming in. They're all munching crisps. They're all making a noise. So if there's any noise, you know. Mackenzie, that's not funny. Right. Gainer W. I look foreign, am I? No, I'm not foreign. I'm English. I live in Wales, but I'm English. I was born in Redhill General Hospital. I have got no foreign... I am actually half Scottish. My mother's Scottish. She's from Aberdeen. But I am not foreign. However, I did used to question my mother and say, are you sure that my father is my father? Because I have a very big nose, flaring nostrils, and I have very afro hair at the back. So I do say to her, are you sure I'm not the Milkman's? But she swears blind I'm not. And Jackson, that's not funny. Oh my God, these children. They're doing my head in. Right. Gaynor also asked what part of the country I live in. I live in South Wales. What made me start vlogging? I've answered that one. That was Mackenzie going on at me to start up a channel. And then if I could eat anything for a week, what would I eat? Well, chocolate, of course, for the whole week. Wouldn't be very healthy, but yeah, chocolate. And what does my husband think? He thinks that I'm wonderful. No, he don't really say a lot. He does say to me, like the other day, he put his arms around me and he was like, oh, I can get my arms around you. But what I will say, he's gone now. He's in the bath. He's not sitting next to me. But he always said that he used to make a joke and he'd say to me, he'll love me however big I get, but when I can't wash myself, I'm out. Because I always remember I used to get obsessed with watching the programs on obese people, like My 500 Pound Life. And there was this woman being washed and the husband or the feeder, whoever he was washing her. And he let go of the cloth and the cloth just completely disappeared in one of her rolls. And I was just like... And Warren went to me, I ain't washing you. I ain't doing that. But he did make a joke of it. He would have if it came to that, but I never let it get to that, thank God. but he makes a joke of it. And to be fair, I always remember Warren's mother when she was alive, bless her. She used to say to me, "Oh, you've picked a good one there. The Dawsons are loyal," and he is. He's a pain in the arse sometimes, and he gets on my blinking nerves. And I think, oh God, it's time to trade him in. But he is a really nice guy. He literally gives me whatever I want. If he's got it, I can have it. I do work. But I am like, well, I'm not a kept woman, but he basically pays for everything. His money's mine and my money's mine. Let's just say that. But no, and when I was at my biggest and I used to hate myself and that, I'd be like, I'd stand there naked, must have looked alright sight, and he'd be like, thinking I was lovely. That's a true husband, isn't it? Bless him. So he's liked me thinner, he's liked me fatter, not liked me, loved me, and he still loves me. But he does have a little insecurity that he thinks I'm going to lose all this weight and I'm going to say, "Draw," and be off, get taken off him. But I've told him not to be silly. But watch his step, otherwise I will. But yeah, no, he's lovely, Warren is. Bless him. You better hurry up and get a job or he will be out the door, because he won't be keeping me to the life I'm accustomed to. And I'm not having that, because you probably noticed I like to shop. Right, next question. Louise Claire. What made me decide to lose weight and stick to it? I've covered that one, I think, in the other questions. Why did I stop Slimming World? Well, I stopped Slimming World because I have done Slimming World for the best part of 20 years. If Slimming World was going to be the plan that was going to work for me, I wouldn't be big now. I wouldn't have the issues I have now. So I think I gave it long enough to work, and it didn't work. And it wasn't the plan that didn't work for me. It just didn't work. It just didn't work for me. It didn't click. It just didn't sit with me anymore. I got bored of it. I got bored of eating the same old thing week in, week out, trying to make things out of the most weird things just to get like a cake fix or and I would try and change the plan to try and accommodate me getting a fix out of eating something, which then just led to me having a binge. I would binge once or twice a week. I would have a binge doing Slimming World, and it was just mentally doing my head. So another thing with Slimming World is that I don't miss is the B choice, A choice, B choice. Being told you can have this bread or that bread as a B, calorie counting, you can have whatever bread you want if you're willing to use calories on it. And a third of a plate speed. Now, this isn't aimed at anyone, so don't think, oh, she's talking about me or anything, because I see this on quite a few people, not necessarily people I watch as a rule. I see other people that pop up and I think, oh, I'll watch their channel quickly and then I don't watch them again or whatever. But the third of speed on your plate, the whole point of that speed food on your plate is to take up the room on the plate, so you're putting less free food on there, which has obviously got more calories in it than the speed food. What I see a lot of people doing is having this huge mountain of food on a plate of free food, which looks great. It's massive. And when I think, I'm adding up in my head what calories it would be, and I'm like, oh my God, do they realise how many calories are in there? And then they say things like, oh, I haven't got any speed on my plate, so afterwards I'm going to have an apple and 2 satsumas, or I'm going to have a satsuma and a pear because I haven't got any speed on my plate. Why? Why are you having that apple and satsuma or that after that big meal? The whole purpose of the speed is to take the room up of some of that food. The speed food is not what's going to make you lose weight. It's not like I must have speed food with my meal, because that will make me lose the weight. The speed food isn't making you lose the weight. The speed food is making you put less of the higher calorie food on your plate, and that way you're obviously consuming less calories. But it took me quite a few years to contemplate and comprehend that in my own brain, because I would be that person that would have a massive amount of food and then think, well, I haven't had any speed food. Oh, I'll have a big bowl of melon afterwards. And it wasn't one day until the consultant explained it to me in such a way that it clicked, and I thought, oh my God, yeah, that's right. Oh my God, I've been doing it wrong all this time. So I'm not saying Slimming World doesn't work. Slimming World does work. I was successful doing Slimming World. I'm not slating Slimming World, and I know some of you do Slimming World, and people are successful on Slimming World. You've got the likes of Debbie's World. What did she lose? 15 odd stone on Slimming World. It works. It just does make me chuckle when I do see people vlogging Slimming World, and I think, why are you doing that? But anyway, each their own. Everyone's own journey is their own, and you boss it how you want to do it. What else have I got here? What's the biggest change I've noticed in myself since I've lost weight? The biggest change I've noticed in myself is my appearance, my facial appearance. I have facially changed. When I was at my biggest, it's all but like my features sort of spread across my face, and they've now sort of shrunk back a bit, and I've got bones come in that I haven't seen for years. And the biggest change, I think, is just visually my upper body at the moment. Everything else will come in time. Yeah, how do me and my husband meet? I've said that one. And what's the first thing I'm going to do when lockdown is over? First thing I'm going to do when lockdown is over is go and visit my friend Kelly, who has a business called About Face, to sort my face out. She microblades my eyebrows for me, and I'm missing my eyebrows. These are drawn on. So first thing, when lockdown is fully over and she's got space for me, I'm going there. Right, Carly Richardson Grubb. Do you think Slimming World clubs should also talk more about calories? Yes and no. No, I don't think they should talk about calories, because their plan isn't based on calories. Their plan is based on free foods and speed foods, A's, B's and sins. They don't mention the word calorie. Their whole plan is you don't need to weigh and measure. You don't need to count calories. You just eat their plan, and their plan works. So no, I don't think they need to talk more about calories. However, I do think that they need to make people more mindful of their portion sizes, as I do believe people abuse free foods, as I did when I was doing Slimming World. And what am I looking forward to the most when I get where I want to be? The thing I'm looking forward to the most is buying trendy, nice clothes. Even though I don't wear horrible clothes now, I wear nice clothes. But I don't know, I think I'm going to feel better in my clothes. So I think that's what it is. And then Carly has got, I haven't got a Welsh accent. She thinks that I live in Wales, and how did I settle in Wales? I think I've answered most of these ones. So yeah, I'm not Welsh. I do have a bit of a Welsh accent come in now and again. And I say some Welshy things, but I'm English. Even though the Welsh don't seem to have a problem with me living here, being English. And we were told when we first moved here, oh, they won't accept you being English. Never been a problem. And I do live in South Wales. I live in a place called Church Village near Llantrisant, so I'm not far from Cardiff. Um, do I wish I realised that? Oh, do I wish I realised that calorie counting could work years ago? Yes, I do. And I did dabble in calorie counting for a short while, but I didn't have the Nutritech app when I did it. I didn't know what I know now, so I only did it for like a few days, and then I just went back to Slimming World. And there's a vlog on here, and it says on there that whatever plan I do, I always end up at Slimming World. I always end up back at Slimming World because that's the one that tends to work for me. No more. Calorie counting all the way. Never say never, but calorie counting all the way. Where did I learn how to be such a good baker? I don't know. Well, there's me thinking I am a good baker. But I do like to cook and I like to bake, and I don't know, I'm just self-taught by watching TV and vlogs and things, and I think, oh, I'll have a go at that. But I did want to be a chef, so I think I've got the tendency to be quite arty-farty with food. And I'm a true believer that you eat with your eyes. So if you make something look nice, it's going to taste nicer. Rather than having something just dolloped on a plate and like, there's your dinner. If it looks nice, it's more appealing, isn't it? So yeah. Claire Burfost, I think it is. Can't read my own writing now. What is my occupation? So yeah, customer service. And then Shanda Key. I wanted to say that with American twang then. Are you from America, Shanda? Right, what is my favourite colour? Pink. Pink's my favourite colour. What is my absolute favourite food? Do you know, I really don't know. My favourite foods are what I call rubbish. Like sweets, chocolate, things like that. But I haven't got an absolute favourite food. Favourite meal, I think, would be a roast dinner. I really like a roast. And then, can we see all your tattoos? Well, you can, but they're everywhere. Well, I haven't got that many. These are my tattoos. I have got a chain, like a daisy chain, going right round my ankle, apart from a little gap at the back. I have got Thumper the rabbit on my leg. I don't know whether that's because I was a bit of a thumper, but I got a Thumper on my leg. What else have I got? Yeah, and then on my bazoom on my chest, this is a bit of a funny story with this one. I have got a little, well, it's not that little, a flower and a little tiny butterfly. Now this started off as a little tiddly butterfly because my husband hates tattoos. So my very first tattoo was the tiny little butterfly on my chest, and I had it done, and I came home and I told him, I said, oh, do you like that? It's a temporary tattoo. I thought I'd just get him used to a little tiddly one. And he was like, you know, I don't like tattoos. Blah, blah, blah. And then a week or so went by and he's like, that tattoo's not fading. And I'm like, oh, yeah, actually, it's a real one. And he sort of come round to the idea. So then a few weeks later then I went and had it made bigger. Then I had the ones on my legs and he was like, will you stop having tattoos? But now he doesn't mind. I got the one on my arm, this one, which you can see on that picture I just put up. That is my children's dates of birth. Because if you didn't know, my eldest and my youngest were both born with talipes, which is basically like a club foot. Their foot was bent round towards their leg. Now, I was born with that when I was born, and it was fixed with like massage. Mine wasn't that bad. Mackenzie had to have his operated on, and Dexter had his manipulated, and he was put in plaster. I'll just put a picture up of here. That's when he was in, like, he had his leg in plaster, and I think people used to think I broke his leg because you get funny stares when you take him out. And then you can see the little foot plates they had to wear. They're like little shoes screwed to a bar, and they had to wear those like 24/7 to keep their feet out like that rather than the bone growing in. Because the kids had to have so many appointments for their legs. And every time you'd ring, they'd say, "What's the date of birth?" And I actually could never remember their dates of birth. So I went and had them tattooed on my arm. So then I'd be on the phone and they'd be like, "What's your date of birth?" And then I'd be like, "Oh, 4/8/07." And I'd look at my arm so I knew their dates of birth. It was the only way I could remember. So that's why I had that. I am going to have another tattoo done to do with weight loss on my arm. But I'm not going to have that done for a while yet. So yeah, that is that. Well, Sheila Hodgson, what is my target weight? I don't have a target weight, as I think I've answered that one. But yeah, I don't have a target weight. I'm just going to keep losing until I'm where I want to be. Don't worry, guys, we're nearly at the end. Have you given up yet and turned off? Joe L, are we related? I don't know, are we? But no, I'm afraid we're not. Not as far as I know, anyway. And then what is my star sign? I am a Cancer. 19th of July, 1974, I was born. And then Jan Parry, what was I like in high school? Was I a studier and do I have qualifications? I hated school. I winged my way through school, which I think my oldest has got the tendency to be like me. Yes, Mackenzie. Hated school. Didn't revise for my exams. I was just like, oh yeah, I can answer them. I did get qualifications. I passed all my exams, apart from religious education. I think I got a U in unmarkable, because in no way am I religious, and I just didn't. But I was a bit of a joker in school, and I wasn't one for learning. However, I got all the qualifications I needed at the time, and I think that's obviously what swayed me more into doing hairdressing, because I didn't have to then go on for further education to learn other things to become a midwife and stuff. So that's why I went with hairdressing. But yeah, I wasn't a studier. Where on the other hand, my sister was like an A-star swatter. She was totally different to me. So, last question. Victoria Foley. Have I done a makeup vlog? I think I did one makeup vlog quite some time ago. I haven't got any of my videos in playlists or anything. I don't know if I should be doing that, but I haven't. But there was one I did. And then the other day, I just did one with a bit of makeup in it. I'm not a makeup artist. I'm not anything. I just do my makeup. And I don't use expensive makeup. I just do my makeup. And then how many tattoos? So I've gone over the tattoo ones. And that is all my questions. All the ones I could see. So I hope I haven't bored you too much. I hope you've learned a little bit more about me. And yeah, this is me. So I hope you will stick around to watch me get even smaller. And if you are subscribed to me, double check you are still subscribed, because I know sometimes, for whatever reason, YouTube decides to unsubscribe people on the sly. And yeah, I will see you on the next one, which will be what I eat in a day later on tonight. So thanks for watching. I hope you've learned a bit more about me, and if you do want to know anything else, I will do another Q&A in a few months' time. So bye guys.